Hi, I'm Dani.
And I'm Si. Welcome to Business in the Brew, a podcast dedicated to all things business with the occasional cuppa.
We take a business story, theory, or something we just want to chat about and give it a dusting of our own special personality and sense of humour, combined with our experience and knowledge. We're both business graduates and have run our own businesses for many years. We can't wait for you to listen.
Welcome back.
Hello.
Have you recovered?
Not enough to go with part two, but it's fine. It's fine. I can sit here quietly and listen.
Okay, all right. Feel free to interject.
I mean, fine.
Okay.
I can't bring levity to this subject in any way.
No. These stories need air. They do. They need people to know about them, because the more people know about them, I think other podcasts have broadcast them, but the more people know about them, the more actually we can be more careful about decisions we make. When we shouldn't have to be more careful, things should just happen.
So to be clear, this is Bodies Part 2.
Yeah, this is Part 2, and this is the Body Snatchers of New York, which actually didn't happen that long ago.
Nice sensationalised title.
Yeah, I know. But this is Bodies for Sale, Part 2. So in Part 1, we talked about Robert Bush in Hull, the funeral director who retained bodies, returned false ashes, and systematically betrayed families at the worst moment of their lives.
We did. It was cheery. I loved it.
Yeah. What we're going to discuss now is some of the DNA, the same DNA. Funeral homes betrayed families, remains desecrated without consent, but not on an entirely different scale.
Okay.
And with a commercial infrastructure behind it that takes the story somewhere considerably darker if you have the guts for it.
I have girded my mental loins.
It's a man called Mastro Marino. Michael Mastro Marino.
Maybe if we just call him Marino, that would be easier.
But there's a villainous sound to that.
There is. There's a lot of alliteration as well.
Yeah. So I'll give you a backdrop first because it's important. The human tissue industry in America is quite buoyant. Yeah.
But
human tissue.
Lovely.
Right?
Yeah.
It's an industry generating over $1 billion a year over there. And actually, I believe some of it comes over here as well. Operates on a straightforward and genuinely important premise. People donate their bodies after death. Tissue. Tendons, ligaments, bones, skin, corneas, heart valves. It's harvested with consent. Harvested.
I don't like that word, but I do. It's collected with consent.
Yeah, with consent. Processed, sterilised, and used in surgical procedures.
Fine, I'm good with that. That's great. Let's finish there.
Great. A tendon from a cadaver can repair a torn knee ligament.
Cadaver.
Cadaver. I don't often have to say that word.
No, but it just really brought me joy to correct you.
Hold that. A cadaver. No. I can start again. A tendon from a cadaver can repair a torn knee ligament. Bone can be used in dental implants. Skin can treat severe burns. It's a vital part of modern medicine, and done properly, it's a remarkable form of posthumous generosity.
I think it's lovely, yeah.
Yeah. But when it's done improperly, which is what Michael Mastro Marino did,
it's bad.
It's quite bad, yeah. He was a former oral surgeon. He'd lost his license, though, after developing a drug addiction. He reinvented himself by obtaining a license to supply human tissue and set up a company called Biomedical Tissue Services.
That's quite a sideways step.
Yeah. Or BTS. And between approximately 2001 and 2005, he built what prosecutors described as a criminal enterprise operating across multiple states, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, that harvested tissue from over 1,000 bodies without consent, forged the paperwork to disguise it, and sold the material into the legitimate medical supply chain.
Just another question of knowing what's happening in your supply chain.
Yes. There is a connection to the UK in this. Okay. So over 1,000, the scheme worked like this. He cultivated relationships with funeral homes. He paid them around $1,000 per corpse for access to recently deceased people. A team of what investigators call cutters which is people who physically remove the tissue would arrive at the funeral home, sometimes working in unsanitary conditions, sometimes with bodies that had been left unrefrigerated for days. They would remove bones, skin, tendons, ligaments. They would replace removed bones with PVC piping to maintain the body's shape, so families wouldn't notice at an open casket service.
Mm-hmm.
And it's tough reading, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would forge the consent documentation, fabricating signatures, inventing family members, creating entirely fictional paperwork to suggest everything had been properly authorised.
What do you say?
And I know what you're thinking.
What job do you do?
Yeah, I know what you're thinking.
I 100% am confident you don't.
Nobody in the supply chain checked?
Well, I mean, I thought that earlier, but now you've told me that, all I can think about is PVC pipes.
Yeah, I know. Here's one of the most damning aspects of the whole operation. Multiple biomedical companies purchased tissue from BTS and used it in surgical procedures performed on roughly 10,000 patients across the United States and Canada. And according to investigators, not one of those companies ever contacted the family members listed on the consent forms to verify the consent was genuine.
Oh, right. I'm not being funny.
Mm-hmm.
You can only take tissue from someone who signed a consent form. So you go, oh, can I buy some heart valves? Yes. Can I see the consent forms? Yes. How much checking is the right amount of checking?
Well, I don't know. I don't know, but checking,
maybe a spot check. You're certainly not going to phone every single family. There was no spot checking.
There's no process there. Yeah. So the paperwork arrived. It looked correct. Nobody looked behind it, which tells you something uncomfortable about the pressure for supply in an industry that's growing faster than its regulatory framework. Yeah. Patients were actually harmed, though. Yeah. This is patients where operations have gone on with this tissue going into them,
which should potentially come out in unsanitary situations, or
well, because he wasn't stealing just tissue; he's stealing tissue from bodies that should never have been used as donors.
Medical complications, diseases.
People who had died of cancer, people who died of AIDS. And in a proper run donation system, those individuals will be screened out. Yeah.
You
I can see the look of horror on Dawn's face.
I mean, if you're going to do something like that, right?
Yeah.
Make your life easier and, pick healthy bodies, because you've got less chance of being found out. The minute you start introducing HIV and cancer I'm guessing that they weren't checked. The bodies were just plundered. That is a lot of cut corners. Don't say plundered. You sound like a pirate.
Pretty much. Well, he sounds like a pirate.
He does.
So Mastro Marino's team simply falsified the course of death on the paperwork and shipped the tissue anyway. Patients developed infections. One woman developed septic shock, required dialysis, and ultimately suffered paralysis from an infected implant. Another developed syphilis from a bone implant. An Ohio man contracted both HIV and hepatitis C. These were people who went into routine surgery and came out with diseases they didn't have before because the tissue they received came from bodies that should never have entered the supply chain.
Oh, I have another question on the supply chain then. So, okay, let's pretend they don't have to check with the families and it's fine. Did they not have to test the tissues or anything?
Well, if the paperwork says that they've come from legitimate sources and that they should have been screened out, there was no framework for this, or the regulatory framework wasn't presupposing.
I actually put my hand in the air when I asked a question there, which is weird because we're audio.
Now, this is where the British connection comes in, because there's a wonderful man called Alistair Cooke. Now, he was regular on Radio 4. He's a journalist and broadcaster, and he was one of the great journalists and broadcasters. Mm-hmm. He had a brilliant programme on Radio 4 called A Letter from America.
So I was tempted to sing, but I'm not going to.
He'd commentate about what had happened that week and what was going on in politics around. I mean, he's so needed right now. Anyway, but this is where he comes in. He was born in Salford, in Manchester in 1908, spent most of his adult life in America, becoming the definitive interpreter of American life for British audiences.
They are confusing, I agree.
Yeah. What was that?
They are confusing, I agree. It does need interpretation.
Oh, right, yes. Yeah. For 58 years, he wrote and broadcast the programme. So it's a huge amount of time. I think it was the longest running speech program in radio history.
I did not know that.
He also presented Masterpiece Theatre on American public television for 22 years. He was knighted, he was beloved. He died in New York, though, in 2004 at the age of 95, of lung cancer that had spread to his bones.
Oh, bless him.
And his body passed through a funeral home that was part of Mastro Marino's network.
Oh.
Yeah. And without
desecration of the greats.
Yeah, and without the knowledge or consent of his family, tissue was harvested from his remains. His daughter Susan...
A man who had lung and bone cancer.
Mm-hmm. His daughter Susan, when asked directly whether she'd ever given permission, simply did not. My father would have been against that. The cruelty of it is layered. First, he died of cancer that spread to his bones, which means tissue harvesting was potentially contaminated and was shipped into the supply chain regardless. Secondly, his family had to learn, after they'd already grieved, after they'd already said goodbye, the body that they buried was not intact, that strangers had cut pieces from their father and grandfather without asking, and the man who spent 50 years eloquently describing the human condition had in death been reduced to inventory.
That's awful.
Which is just so...
Not that it's any less awful when it's someone we don't know.
Callous.
That's not the point.
Yeah. But he wouldn't have known who he was. His cutters wouldn't have known who he was. And
uncultured swine.
Yeah. Master Marino was making, by his own account, over $1 million a year. When he was interviewed by NPR after his conviction, he was unrepentant in one particular way. He said, with a kind of defiant honesty, no one talks about the gorilla in the room, which is how much money everyone's making. And he wasn't entirely wrong. How much money everyone's making in that supply chain.
Did he ever hear the phrase elephant in the room? Because gorilla in the room is not a thing.
Yeah, exactly. The human tissue industry was and remains extraordinarily profitable. The legal version, bones, tendons, cornea, skin, processed and sterilised, turned into surgical products, generates billions of dollars annually. The line between legal and illegal in this industry is consent and screening. But he completely removed those two inconveniences.
Can I assume that based on the amount of money he made, demand also outstrips supply?
Oh, yeah, well, I think that's the case.
I think it would be fair to say that.
He certainly wasn't the only one, but others are doing it legally. So he was arrested. I decided not to go into all of the details of what they found when they arrived. I've spared you there.
The PVC pipe was enough. It stuck with me.
Yeah. He was arrested, prosecuted in both New York and Pennsylvania, and in 2008 pleaded guilty to enterprise corruption, stealing, body stealing, and reckless endangerment. He was sentenced to between 15 and 58 years.
But not prosecuted, interestingly, for any kind of infection that would have been caused in the end user.
I think that's where reckless endangerment comes in, yeah?
But not like, what's the word, attempted murder or anything?
No, because it wasn't. I don't think he had any intention of murdering people. These were concurrent sentences across multiple jurisdictions, so that was New York and Pennsylvania. 7 funeral homes directors pleaded guilty in New York. 7 funeral home directors pleaded guilty. His lead cutter pleaded guilty to 244 counts of theft and forgery. Master Marino and associates agreed to pay back £4.6 million to the victims' families, and in 2013 he died in prison of bone cancer at the age of 49.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So
not that I generally report anyone
I don't need to say this part, but anyway, it's a grim irony to.
Well, it is rather.
Yeah.
I hope they took all of his tissue.
It's hardly poetic justice. Yeah. So, the human body in death is entirely defenceless. It can't advocate for itself. It relies entirely on the legal framework around it and the decency of people entrusted with its care. So when that fails...
It fails.
When the framework has a gap, when profit's available and oversight's weak, that's what happens. Yeah. And it's the people who are alive that seem to pay the price.
I would like a Viking funeral, please. You'll know it's me because I'll be there on top of the pile.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong then.
Mm-hmm. But where that's happened with them, there will be others who are doing it and covering up their tracks.
It's much more successfully than this idiot.
No doubt that's going on still, yeah. Yeah.
It's a black market. And there's always been a black market for body parts. You remember the old urban legends that you go night clubbing and you get drugged and you wake up without a liver?
With no kidney.
Yeah,
yes.
that kind of thing.
Yeah. You wouldn't wake up without a liver.
No, you'd be dead.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, without a gallbladder.
With a missing kidney, yeah.
Fine.
Or an eye, yeah.
Part of a lung.
Yeah.
Could you lose part of your liver? You can lose part of your liver, can't you?
No, you don't know all of it.
Oh, okay. No one wants my liver, Jesus. No one wants my kidneys either. I'm pretty confident no one wants any part of my internal organs.
Or a ball. Or
Oh, a testicle. Can you imagine waking up with only one testicle? Would you notice at first? Do you every day just count everything to make sure it's all there still?
It would feel like there's something wrong.
What, like you were uneven?
No, well, no, not that. I mean, because it wouldn't just be removed, would it? There'd be stitches, there'd be a hole.
That is true. What if they put you into an enforced coma for a 6-week period while you healed completely? Would you then notice you had no testicle?
Probably not for a while.
I think you don't go around going, look, 2 eyeballs, 2 cheeks, 2 ears, 2 testicles.
Cheeks?
Like that.
I don't think there's a market for cheeks.
Isn't pork cheek, really?
Oh, guanciale.
It's unrelated anyway. I'm getting into a whole different territory.
Yeah. So, that's a nice light-hearted end to that. But that was
sorry, I've just trivialised your story.
Horrible story.
It was horrible.
I'm sorry to anyone of a nervous disposition.
Too late now. They've already listened.
Yeah. I should have pulled the trigger.
Possibly. It's all right. We'll write it in the episode description.
Yeah. But some stories just need to be shared. Yeah.
Well.
All right. Thanks for listening.
I think
Thanks
the next one will be mine, so it's less horrific.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for supporting us by downloading and listening to this episode.
And a massive thank you also to Donnie, Emily, Nat and Lewis and the BTD Studios for all your expertise in bringing our podcasting dream to reality.
We'd love it if you commented on this episode, as we'd really like to know what you think and what you might like us to cover in future episodes.
And we'll see you on the next one.